your AP department, an expert practices presentation brought to you by the Controllers Council. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council. And before I introduce our expert panelists and our partner sponsor, let me share some brief housekeeping items. First, we'll have Q&A at the end of the presentation, so please use your GoToWebinar control panel to ask our experts questions. Next, this webinar is CPE eligible with 4 polling questions, so please answer each poll for CPE or to benchmark your peers. Please allow up to 1 week for CPE certificates. We usually get them out in 48 hours via email again. And also regarding CPE, you'll receive a brief survey directly after today's webcast, so please complete. And finally, you'll receive a link to this webcast via email in the next 24 hours, so no need for notes or screenshots. And with that, I'd like to say a word about our partner and sponsor. AvidXchange is a leader in automating invoice, payment, and accounts payable processes for mid-market organizations. AvidXchange processes more than 242 billion transactions annually with 1,600 employees, 8,500 customers, and over 265 accounting system integrations. Learn more at avidexchange.com. And I'm very pleased to introduce our expert speakers. Rhonda Green is Principal Solutions Consultant at AvidXchange, and Erica Waters is Senior Solutions Consultant, also at AvidXchange. So Rhonda and Erica, welcome.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Turn it over to you.
Thank you, Neil. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, as Neil mentioned, we're going to talk about the common AP points and the benefits of automation. We're also going to talk about advantages of automating the end-to-end AP process, tips to evaluate if AP automation fits your business, steps to automate your AP department, AP automation with AvidXchange, and then we will leave room at the end for Q&A. So let's get started. All right, so as we mentioned, before you can really build a business case, it's important to understand the common AP pain points with paper-based processes and the benefits that AP automation can provide with those paperless processes. In this section, we'll go over the basics of how AP automation works. We'll take a look at the AP process before and after automation, and we'll dive into the benefits the finance technology can provide to help build the foundation that you'll need to build that business case for automation. So we've got a quote here. Actually, it's something that I've said many, many times over my long career between working at AvidXchange, but also prior to joining Avid, I spent many, many years overseeing large AP departments and implementing AP automation. So I know that paper adds all kinds of inefficiencies to the process. And when you're trying to manually route invoices for approval, you're spending time walking them down the hall or sending a scanned copy in an email. You're adding a lot of time to the process and increasing the odds of a document getting misplaced. So that is definitely something that will go away with automation and something that we're looking forward to talking to you about. So paper-based versus paperless AP processes. So traditional paper-based AP can be time-consuming and reliant on repetitive manual work. And obviously you all know that that can be very burdensome for businesses, causes inefficiencies like data entry errors, lost invoices, and late payments. And these processes often require significant manual effort from your AP staff. And quite frankly, that causes them frustration and really prevents them from being able to focus on more strategic initiatives that bring value to your organization. But what if we told you that there's another way to process AP? Many organizations are shifting to a paperless AP process as part of their digital transformation efforts. And with a paperless system, the AP process remains the same, but many tasks will now take place digitally. So if we look here at this graph, some of the paper-based AP points are, handling all of that paper, document storage, having to have that physical space for those filing cabinets, not to mention the numerous hours spent processing invoice. It's very time-consuming manual process, the costs associated with it, the human errors, because hey, they happen, and making sure you have visibility into your invoices and your payments, but also reporting. And anytime, I know years past when I was asked to pull together a report, it took forever because I was working out of Excel trying to get data from different places. But now with paperless and automation, you're going to have digital routing for those approvals, digital storage for your files, fast processing, much lower hard and soft costs, and your errors are going to be reduced because AI and OCR technology, plus just electronic systems in general, are flagging discrepancies, helping to reduce errors. And now you've got real-time visibility into all of your data. And the reports and analytics are going to be generated for you automatically. No more hours, going to different sources to get your data. You're going to have that right at your fingertips. So many benefits. And AP automation offers a powerful solution. And really, that term, AP automation, is all about transforming the accounts payable process from an extremely manual, labor-intensive, time-consuming process to a more streamlined, way more efficient process. And it's really eliminating the vast majority of the manual tasks that your team is doing today. And while it is possible to use ad hoc systems to automate certain AP duties, AP automation software helps promote consistency and visibility across the full AP process. So piecemeal automation may address immediate needs. For instance, maybe you're using a document storage company that's helping you maybe digitally capture invoices, but you're still having to rely on other manual, maybe data entry, reporting, all of that still being done in your ERP in a manual way. And really, it only is addressing your immediate needs, but a comprehensive solution can really scale as your company grows along with your invoice volume, oftentimes leading to, as you're scaling, not having to add additional headcount in the AP department. So there's also cost savings there as well. So how does AP automation work? So the first step, most AP automation systems use OCR, which is a type of AI technology, to extract the information from the invoices. And we call that header data. So that's things like the vendor information, the invoice number, date, amount, all of that. And it's being extracted from the invoices and then entered into an automated system that then will push those invoices through that electronic workflow. So now, if you're, again, maybe emailing out for approvals or walking down the hall asking someone for approval, not always knowing where those invoices are, all of that concern goes away, because now you have that real-time access. You'll know exactly where every invoice is in the process. Also, if you're using purchase orders, these systems can often automatically match invoices against the purchase order and delivery receipts, all three, for verification. So again, it's taking that process that may be piecemealed today and putting it all together. And having those electronically routed invoices, those are definitely based on predefined rules which are set by your company. So if you have a hierarchy in terms of dollar amount, if it's over this amount, it needs to go to a manager. If it's over this amount, it needs to go to a director. All of that will be built in. So those invoices, when they come in, will automatically go through those predefined workflows so that the right approvers are seeing and approving those invoices. And then after the invoice is approved, AP automation can enable payments to take place. And really here, you're again getting away from paper, because with an automated payment process, more and more vendors are now choosing their own way of being paid, and they don't really want a paper check. They prefer an electronic payment method because they get their funds so much faster and really safer. And then finally, the AP automation can automate reconciliation. So bank rec process, I know firsthand, becomes much, much easier. And it helps you to be able to identify things like spending patterns, because again, it's happening so quickly, and the reporting that you'll now have at your fingertips really can help guide future business decisions. And this is a slide that I always love to share because it really does a good job of showing the before and after process for AP, and that is before and after automation. So as you can see on the left, the before option is all manual. You have, team that's opening in emails or even paper mail, and actually routing that paper around, or maybe handwriting the GL code on the invoice there, then having to enter it in, make sure it's approved, get it paid, file it manually, just lots of steps. And now when you look at the after portion, everywhere that you see that blue digital wheel, all of those steps are now gone from your process because it's all part of the automation process. So really your team is only left with those three crucial steps, and that's how to code the invoice, and that's approving the invoice, and it's also selecting the invoices that you want to pay for payment. And also you've got the ability to do a digital approval of each payment should you choose to do that. So it's taking that many steps, those 12 steps, down to 3. You can only imagine the time that you'll save.